why we should follow Dopey, why we should follow King Little G instead of following kind of what this, taggers are doing. You feel me? It's like, should we follow the gangsters or should we follow the taggers? And I've always really liked to follow gangsters, gangsters that are gentlemen, with a capital G, you feel me? Not taggers. To these tagger ass fools, just playing, but kind of not. Lefty and King Khash just kind of putting together, falling off, coming back up, being all over the place, getting in arguments with each other. But just so you guys know, I'm here for the music. I'm not here for gang politics. I think it's embarrassing that we let gang politics get involved in our business, because in the end, business is about growth, about networking and growth. And you can't do that when you have things that are hindering that growth. I guess this Northerner was on his chat kind of hating on him. And he was like, hey, bro, just so you know, when I was in the shoe, we ate together. They gave me a care pack. Say you want to go to LA and interact with artists and you're from up north. You don't got to just go to see Lefty or King Khash. You can go see King Little G, the greatest, if not the biggest Chicano rap star of all time, hands down. Hey, what it do, what it is, what it was. This is your boy Pocho, one of the Pocho Live podcast. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications and support a real one in the field. Today, what are we talking about? Lefty Gunplay, King Khash, the best, Little G, King Little G, and the up and coming gentleman of Los Angeles, Big Dopey. You feel me? Big Dopey in the building. Recently, Dopey was chopping it up on his podcast. Please, everybody, go check out Dopey's podcast. It's dope. And real quick, if you don't know who Dopey is, he's a dope artist out of Los Angeles, California, specifically the west side of Los Angeles, Inglewood, California. He represents 18th Street, representing. You already know I've lived in 18th Street communities on the west side, all the way over there in Mar Vista and West Los, by Culver City, actually. Shout out to the Culver City boys. And on Hoover, and on Los Colombianos on 6th and Westlake. So shout out to the whole west side, the best side. You feel me? Shout out to the 18th Street, man. They let me live there for many years on 6th and Westlake, right there by the 18th Street mural. It was off the hook, trust and believe. One time I'm coming back over here and I'm like watching, I'm watching this video, and this is Vato, like, I guess just got out of jail, and he's in the studio, and I guess his name is Dopey, and he's just talking about this story about, hey, I guess this Northerner was on his chat kind of hating on him, and he was like, hey, bro, just so you know, when I was in the shoe, we ate together. They gave me a care package, and he goes down this story of like a Northerner giving him a care package and him asking the homies if it's okay to take the care package, and they're like, yeah, for sure, And this is in the time of when there was no treaty. He asked, is it okay if I take this? And they're like, yeah, of course. If the doors crack, what do woo up? That's different. But right now, it's peacetime. So it's what the whole point is, that Dopey was expressing that Northerners and Southerners, even when it was wartime, they knew moments of peace to savor them, to enjoy them, to respect each other. That it's not always war, bro. You can't always be a tough guy all day, and sometimes it's good to just be a gentleman. So he tells a story about Northerner giving him a care package, you feel me, him taking it, and then him building that respect, for them, so that this young Northerner shouldn't disrespect him, because his big homies are respecting Southsiders in jail. And that was one of the first times, I think, that you heard a real legitimate Southsiders from Los Angeles representing a major gang, one of the biggest gangs in LA, if not the biggest gang. I'd say the biggest gangs in Los Angeles are maybe a toss-up between 18th Street, Maravillas, 18th Street, F13 Avenues, maybe MS, but 18th Street is definitely up there in maybe the top two biggest Los Angeles gangs. So he comes from a legitimate place, and he's showing respect for the North, showing respect for himself, and trying to teach the young homies how to be a better, you feel me? So basically this video, y'all, is I just wanted to say that there's different people that you should follow. And I think if you're going to follow anybody down there in the South, I think you should follow somebody like Dopey, maybe even somebody like King Little G, and even King Khash seemed to be not too bad. It seems to be a pretty humble guy, actually. Before we got into it with Lefty Gunplay, you feel me? We were cool. I was going to even interview him because I wanted to support him and how he supports Lefty. But as he is, with the homie, once I got into it with Lefty, you feel me? You get into it with Lefty, you get into it with his homies too. So shout out to the Kings, you feel me? This is not really, I'm not, everybody thinks I'm here to, that, by speaking up on these things, it's creating division. No, bro, we're creating unity through these conversations. It's okay to be uncomfortable. It's okay to have conflict. But in the end, we are one people, and we're trying to come together. And through these conversations, we're going to figure out a better way. You feel me? And the good thing is that, say you want to go to LA and interact with artists and you're from up north, you don't got to just go to see Lefty or King Khash. You can go see King Little G, the greatest, if not the biggest Chicano rap star of all time, hands down. I will say this, Conejo definitely is the godfather of Chicano rap, but I will say King Little G to me is like the guy that brought it out and transformed it and made it cool to rap as a brown person. You feel me? Before that, it was like a very, very niche thing. King Lil G said it was, and that it was cool to have style and have females and talk about lifestyle, not just talk about gangs. You feel me? The reason why I think King Little G is something that we need to follow as well is because that he lets his music speak for himself. He rarely gets on the mic and disrespects. You saw him get into it with other people a little bit when he was going through podcasting, but even then he was making things right, doing the right thing. And generally speaking, you can see King Little G carries himself like a G, and that has pushed him into places of elevated him to a legend and where he can interact with all kinds of people. And I'm sure that if he was down, there'd be a northerner that'd be down to do a song with him, even though that's not something he's trying to do. I'm just saying. He really comes from the streets. There has been questions about King Lil G's gangster card, but definitely his brother is a real one. And I think, he seems to be a real one too. And he stands on business since day one. You feel me? So basically in this video, bro, I want you guys to think about who you're following. If you're going to follow and listen to these rap stars, try to understand who they are too, and it's not, and I'll talk about what happened and then, why I think, this group is probably the more healthier group. I want to be the voice of reason, in this rap game, in this Latino game, in this whole Latino arts, Chicano arts. And we have to move our people in the right direction. And sadly, I don't think that we should let, while I know it sounds crazy, I do want Lefty Gunplay to win, bro. I still want him to win. His last song wasn't that bad, actually. You know what I mean? It's a trip. But just so you guys know, I'm here for the music. I'm not here for gang politics. I think it's embarrassing that we let gang politics get involved in our business, because in the end, business is about growth, about networking and growth. And you can't do that when you have things that are hindering that growth, be it geographic area, genders, race, all that stuff. Geographic area is just like being racist. You're being, like racist towards the geographic area that you're not like. You know what I mean? I don't know exactly what that's called. I'll look it up and maybe put it right here. But again, I want to talk about, but just so you guys know, I'm here for the music. I'm not here for gang politics. I think it's embarrassing that we let gang politics get involved in our business, because in the end, business is about growth, about networking and growth. And you can't do that when you have things that are hindering that growth. Why we should follow Dopey, why we should follow King Little G instead of following kind of what this, taggers are doing. You feel me? It's like, should we follow the gangsters or should we follow the taggers? And I've always really liked to follow gangsters, gangsters that are gentlemen, with a capital G, you feel me? Not taggers, you feel me? And they're just like, and not like taggers, man, who just want to be like, like the G's. But I'm not trying to take anything away from LA taggers, because those fools are with the business. Like Tupac said, everybody in Los Angeles has a little bit of thug in them. But it is one thing to be from a tagging crew that just came up in this generation, and it's another thing to be part of one of the oldest, biggest gangs in Los Angeles and speak from that and still be on good terms and treat your opposition with respect. I've never really heard King Little G disrespect the North. If he has, he didn't make it, really well known. I think he does that for a reason. I see Dopey not disrespecting the North, and this is where we come to the current event, is that Dopey was trying to say like, hey, homie, he got at King Khash because King Khash did a diss song towards King Little G a long time ago. And basically King Khash said, I just did that for the music, or, the entertainment, just to, hit at somebody at top. And I want to say everybody's right, because King Khash has a right to go for the highest person at the time. King Little G was the highest person, so it wasn't on some gang stuff. I don't think the Kings have anything wrong with, I think he even said that they don't have anything wrong with, they don't got no funk with 18th Street. So it wasn't a gang thing. It was just a hip hop thing, right? But the thing is that with King Khash and Lefty, more with Lefty, and that's why King Khash has always been a real hip hop head, and I respect him still. Salute to King Khash. But I think it's just hard, managing Lefty and, somebody that can't get right. You feel me? He kind of can ruin it for everybody, because Lefty could have came in like a super G, kind of like a King Little G. I was trying to bring him in like a King Little G, but that was going to turn into a superstar like OGZ and not care about North or South or this or that, and just care about balling, 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 balling. You feel me? But this is where we're at now. You feel me? Hopefully, we can come to a understanding. What I think is King Khash and Lefty need to take advice from Dopey and King Little G, who are have been in the game longer, been alive longer, have more to offer them, instead of kind of just, putting them off as the opposition, or kind of putting them like as a versus, or like going at it was cool to go at King Little G, but bro, you're nowhere near King Little G. So sometimes when you go at somebody too high, it falls on deaf ears. So I think that's what happened with King Little G. I don't think he went too far with his diss because it fell on deaf ears because he wasn't at the level of King Little G. Maybe he should have went at like somebody like Drummer, somebody like that. Shout out to LA Icon. Go check out the Drummer video. He talks about all kinds of stuff. It's actually somewhat interesting because finally Drummer Boy comes out of his shell and talks a little bit of ish, which I've always wanted Drummer to come out because they're always like, oh, King Little G and Drummer's kind of the dude in the back, the like nerd in the back. But I don't know if it was a official, authentic, but he did come with a little bit of hot fire. And even though he unfollowed me, it's all right. Shout out to the Drummer Boy. You feel me, young Drummer Boy? He's a little old now, but still young at heart. But again, people, the point of this video is to talk about LA music and LA artists. And if you're going to listen to LA music, listen to the right artists that are going to move you in the right direction. Because I do believe that nowadays people are not just listening to artists for like their music, they're really getting into their personality and trying to be like them. So be like Dopey, be like King Little G. And I'm not going to necessarily say don't be like King Khash. I might say don't be like Lefty Gunplay. You feel me? But I will say that we need to start to look at these artists, and I wanting to compare them, but not in a necessarily a bad way, just in decision making. Right? Dopey came out, showed respect because it was a real thing. Lefty, I bet you he's had some of the same experiences, but he didn't show respect. And look where all the conflict that he's dealing with. And Dopey's going through he's going a little by little, but he's getting bigger, poco a poco. Saludos to the homie, He's bringing up and he's bringing his whole community with him. Little by little. I know it sounds funny, but like sometimes, what is it, the turtle and the rabbit or whatever, the turtle could win. And so Dopey's just slowly, building little building blocks. Lefty's building these big things, but then he's falling back down, making good music and then making bad music. Dopey's making better music. Like honestly, I'd probably say that Lefty makes better music than Dopey, but not that by that much. And with more time that Dopey has being not being in jail and being able to like get into this, I do think that he can really give something to like even a better performance as a rapper, and what I think he get it to, and he's even talked about it, acting and different things that can bring different levels of income in different lanes because of his personality and because he's good at networking, and he understands that gang politics never helps any kind of civilian politics. You just have to take and understand that how can you bring gang business into civilian business? They don't match. People, you have to make a decision. You can always be a gangster. You just don't got to do them gangster things anymore that are toxic. Leave that out of the equation. Like Lefty, you don't got to say F the North. You never needed to do that. You were good enough, bro. That's what's crazy. You were good enough to stand on your own. You did not need to diss the homies, but you did. And now forever, it's going to be a thing because you won't back down. You keep dissing them, and it's falling on deaf ears now, because you need conflict for you to keep popping. But just work on your talent, and I swear to life, you'll be seen by the world. You'll get to see stages like OGZ see stages, But you got to be more honorable. Even with myself, I'm trying to clean up a little bit of my act. Again, I deleted food community and LA Icon disses, because I just didn't want that on my page. You know what I mean? We can all grow through this process. We don't gotta keep dissing each other. And even this isn't to say stop listening to King Khash or Lefty Gunplay. No, listen to their music, but don't follow their ways because I think that they're making some bad decisions, and it shows because I don't think that they're actually balling like they should be, and they deserve it. They went through the struggle. And I think King Little G and Dopey are building. Even King Little G, through all these years, he's been building and he's not thirsty. You can tell both of them are not thirsty for the music. They don't just put out music that's bad. They wait and really try to get better and better and better. And that's why King Little G is a legend. And that's why Dopey is so well respected throughout Los Angeles and across the country and up north. He's the only Southside rapper that got real love by all across the board. I'm not saying all Northern California people like him, but they like how he carries himself. A lot of people, sorry to say, I know there's a lot of dissing, but there's a lot of people in Northern California that are not trying to diss the South. They're not trying to do all that. Remember, just because people are loud, that doesn't mean that they're the majority. Usually the minority screams the loudest because the majority doesn't need to do that. It's like being a giant. You don't got to present yourself. So again, people, there was this little conflict between, and Dopey kind of talking to them like, hey, bro, like I went through all the struggle in prison when we were at war with them, and you guys weren't even at war with them, and why are you tripping on the North? You know, like he was trying to kind of give him some guidance, and I don't think Lefty's taking it, but I hope he does, Lefty, because you don't need to diss your ops, you don't need to diss North Day, you don't need to diss anybody to get on. You can get on with your talent. A lot of people say you don't have it. I actually am one of the people that says that you do have it. If you could do Boulevard Babies and a couple other songs, the song with RJ, and even this more recent song, you can do it. I even sent you an inbox message, bro. You saw it. So serious, homie. Get it together. Stop dissing homies. Pull your shit, pull it all up. You know, get off that stuff. You know what I mean? Quit drinking and get in the lab, homie, and stay there with King Khash. I do think that King Khash is an honorable man, and he could I don't think he was scared of Dopey. You know, I think he's twice his size. You know, but at the same time, he wasn't gonna be out like, you know, bitch. You know, like mess. You know, be out. You know, mess up trying like not to cause he wasn't gonna punk out of the situation. You feel me? But at the same time, he was like, no, that's not entertainment. I never got to meet King Khash, but he does seem like he could be a very good role model, somebody that could bridge kind of King Little G and Dopey with Lefty. And the funny part is that if all these vatos would just work together, even with the North, everybody have a free for all, we would all ball out. But anyway, this is your boy Pocho, one of the Pocho Live podcast. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, and support a real one in the field. Let me know, people, if you think Lefty's making the right decisions. Let me know if King Khash was really dissing King Little G for real or just on some hip hop ish, and if he had the right to and or the skill. I don't know if he's at the skill level to diss King Little G. He might have the lyrical skill, but to have the whole package, I do think that he's, you know, photogenic, handsome, tall, homie. You know what I mean? He got it going on, bro. He was an athlete, bro. So you could put it together, King Cash. Just keep coming at it, and I think that you could hit with a hard one. You feel me? And you could kind of be part of this mature generation coming out of all this crazy time. And Lefty, bro, come on, bro. You really got to get together. You're a superstar right now. You're kind of there, but you're not. You're like almost a superstar, you know. And if you would just stop with the crazy stuff, you could get there. You know what I mean? King Lil G is having to do some, you know, domestic issues. Hopefully, he comes out and kills the game. Shout out to him. And the homie Dopey, man, keep doing your thing, Dopey. You're killing it, putting it together little by little, bringing your whole community up. And all I can say is that we all look to LA as the center of the culture, bro. And so please make us proud. It doesn't need, we don't, people say, why do you speak on LA? Bro, I was born in Southern California, but that doesn't even matter. My family's from San Diego. Shout out to Logan Heights. Shout out to Sherman, you know, I'm Sherman. And shout out to all the Sherman Heights, you know. Shout out to everybody, you know what I mean, from Southern California and Northern California. We can't be defined by these things. You try to define me, you can't, bro. It don't make sense. You can't call me a Northern podcaster. I was born in the South. You can't call me a Southern podcaster. I live in the North, live in the South, raised in both places, bro. I'm a California kid, you feel me? Just trying to bring it all together to make it make sense. And these gang politics in the music industry do not make sense. So follow people like Dopey and King Lil G who are putting it together little by little, but having long careers with a lot of love and no drama, as opposed to these tiger ass fools just playing, but kind of not. Lefty and King Khash just kind of putting it together, falling off, coming back up, you know, being all over the place, getting in arguments with each other. You know what I mean? The best I can say is Lefty, listen to King Khash, and King Khash, get this fool so we can get it all cracking. All California, let's go. It's your boy Pocho One, and I'm out.